It says Michael Jordan's net worth, how much he is being paid by NBC for NBA coverage. Michael Jordan, the NBA legend who is widely regarded as the best player of all time, will start contributing to NBC sports coverage of the league this fall. Michael Jordan reportedly secured a historical $40 million contract with NBC, becoming the highest paid sports analyst in history. In a statement released on May 12th, Jordan, who's 62, remarked, "I am so excited to see NBA back on NBC." Joining NBC Sports about a week or so ago, just brought so much joy to the internet, man. Everybody was so excited, that we're gonna be hearing from Michael Jordan talk basketball. Finally, the GOAT is back, and all that. Like, people are just
the GOAT is stepping back into the spotlight, and the basketball world is shaking because of it. Charles Tobin just lit a match that turned into a full-blown wildfire after declaring that Michael Jordan's reported $40 million deal with NBC is more than just a broadcasting agreement. According to him, this deal is living proof that Jordan is still the greatest to ever touch a basketball. Is. From explosive fan reactions to non-stop media debate and massive financial implications, this announcement has reignited the GOAT conversation in a way we haven't seen in years. And true to Charles Tobin's style, there is no hesitation, no fence-sitting, and no soft language. This isn't nostalgia talking. This is power, relevance, and demand speaking loud and clear. Charles begins by pointing to the immediate and overwhelming reaction once Jordan's NBC involvement became public. Social media exploded. Fans across generations celebrated. Not because they wanted to relive the past, but because they've been starved for Jordan's voice in today's game. Michael Jordan doesn't chase relevance. Relevance chases him. And when he finally chooses to step into the conversation, the entire sports world stops and pays attention. This moment, Charles argues, is historic not just because of the dollar amount, but because of how rare Jordan's presence is. Jordan has spent decades operating in silence, letting his legacy speak for him. He doesn't sit on debate shows. He doesn't respond to criticism. He doesn't campaign for validation. So when someone like that agrees to speak on basketball in real time, it sends a message. His voice still carries unmatched authority. And here's the key point Charles drives home. This excitement wasn't manufactured by NBC executives or hyped by a marketing machine. This was organic demand. Fans didn't ask for flashy graphics or hot takes. They asked for Jordan. That kind of reaction can't be bought, promoted, or scripted. It can only be earned over decades of dominance. Charles makes it crystal clear. No current superstar, no retired legend, and no so-called GOAT contender could cause this level of global hype simply by joining a broadcast. LeBron doing commentary wouldn't shake the culture. Kobe, rest his soul, would have, but even he acknowledged Jordan as a standard. Jordan's mere presence changes the temperature of the room. T.O. Charles Tobin. This NBC deal isn't about television at all. It's about who still commands a throne without lifting a finger. Jordan doesn't need to play another game, win another ring, or post another stat line. His influence still moves money, emotion, and attention at a level nobody else can touch.
I think the level of excitement from people speaks to the level of just total nonsense that has saturated the airwaves in terms of the sports media ecosystem. Just a bunch of nonsense. For people to be so excited to hear from Michael Jordan, it's like, well, what about all these other people we've been listening to?
In the second part of his breakdown, Charles turns his fire directly toward the modern sports media machine, and he does not hold back. He argues that the overwhelming joy surrounding Michael Jordan's return isn't accidental. It's a reaction to a media landscape that has become oversaturated, predictable, and hollow. Fans aren't celebrating just because Jordan is back. They're celebrating because they're tired of everything else. According to Charles, sports television today is stuck in a loop. The same debates, the same forced arguments, the same personalities recycling the same polarizing takes for clicks and controversy. Every day it's LeBron versus Jordan, rings versus longevity, stats versus narratives, repeated so often that the substance has completely evaporated. What was once analysis has become performance. What was once insight has become noise. And this is where Jordan's return exposes the entire system. Charles says the anticipation around Jordan proves fans are starving for authenticity, not manufactured outrage, not agenda-driven arguments. Not hot takes design to trend on social media. They want perspective from someone who doesn't need controversy to stay relevant. Someone whose authority comes from definition, not discussion. This is not nostalgia, Charles insists. This is hunger. Hunger for a voice that actually understands basketball at its highest level. Jordan doesn't debate greatness. He set the standard for it. And when someone like that speaks, it instantly highlights how much of today's sports commentary lacks real credibility. Jordan doesn't need a loud voice. His silence alone has carried more weight than most analysts' entire careers. Charles believes Jordan's presence slices straight through the clutter. No theatrics. No exaggerated outrage. Just clarity. And that clarity makes everything else look exposed. Suddenly, the yelling feels empty. The endless debates feel pointless. The narratives feel forced. Because when the benchmark himself enters a room, excuses disappear. And that's why Charles says this isn't just a flex. It's a wake-up call. A reminder to the sports media world that fans still recognize the difference between entertainers and authorities. Between people who talk about the game and the man who defined it. Jordan stepping into this space doesn't elevate the media. It challenges IT that in Charles's eyes, Michael Jordan's return is a mirror being held up to the entire industry. And a lot of people don't like what they're seeing.
I was excited about it. People are trying to paint narratives like Gilbert Arenas out here talking about, oh man, Michael Jordan, he's going to make Michael Jordan fans look dumb because he's going to be classy. I'm like, so let me get this straight. Michael Jordan's classiness is going to expose his fans, not the disgusting La media that's been out here trashing him. He's not going to expose, just like clown ass Nick Wright that just yesterday was saying that, oh, NBC Sports hiring Michael Jordan would be a great consultant for their gambling.
Now the gloves truly come off. Charles stops being polite and starts being precise. He calls out figures like Gilbert Arenas and Nick Wright by name, and he makes it clear that their skepticism toward Michael Jordan's return has nothing to do with basketball analysis. In Charles's view, it has everything to do with fear. Fear of relevance. Fear of exposure. Fear that the moment Jordan opens his mouth, entire careers built on manufactured narratives could collapse overnight. Charles argues that when Gilbert Arenas suggests Jordan might embarrass his own fans, or when Nick Wright once again reaches the tired gambling angle, it isn't criticism. It's deflection. These aren't fresh insights or thoughtful critiques. They're distractions designed to pull attention away from the real issue. Jordan's presence threatens the ecosystem they survive in. For years, these media figures have thrived on hypotheticals, on what-ifs, on selective framing, on tearing down the past to elevate the present. Jordan stepping back into the spotlight disrupts that entire formula. Because you can't twist narratives when the standard himself is in the room. You can't rewrite history when the author is speaking. Charles makes it clear that these reactions say far more about the critics than they do about Jordan. When someone has to reach back decades for controversy, it's usually because there's nothing left to attack in the present. And Jordan's legacy? It doesn't need defending. It doesn't need explaining. It has survived eras, rule changes, generations, and endless debate without flinching. This, Charles insists, is not a debate about who talks better on television. It's about authority. About who earned the right to speak on basketball at the highest level. Jordan didn't build his voice through controversy. He built it through domination, through excellence, through results that no amount of revisionism can erase. And that's why, in Charles's eyes, the backlash feels panicked. Because when Michael Jordan enters a conversation, comparisons lose power, narratives lose control, and opinions lose leverage. What's left is truth. And truth is uncomfortable for people who made careers selling doubt. That SO to Charles. The conclusion is simple and brutal. This isn't Jordan trying to stay relevant. It's everyone else scrambling to stay afloat. And when it comes to who has earned the right to speak, there is no debate. Not now. Not ever.
Michael Jordan's net worth, how much he is being paid by NBC for NBA coverage. Michael Jordan, the NBA legend who is widely regarded as the best player of all time, will start contributing to NBC sports coverage of the league this fall. Michael Jordan reportedly secured a historical $40 million contract with NBC, becoming the highest paid sports analyst in history. In a statement released on May 12th, Jordan, who's 62, remarked, "I am so excited to see NBA back on NBC."
Charles then shifts gears and brings the conversation to the financial reality. And this is where the debate effectively ends. Michael Jordan is set to become the highest paid sports analyst in history. $40 million. Not to coach, not to run a franchise, not to suit up and play a single minute. Just to speak. That number isn't hype. It's proof. Charles makes it clear that no network, especially one as calculated as NBC, hands out that kind of money without absolute certainty. This isn't charity. This isn't nostalgia. This is a cold, data-driven business decision. And the data says one thing. Michael Jordan still moves the world. NBC and the league aren't paying for Jordan's opinions. They're paying for his presence, for the gravity that comes with his name, for the rating spike, the global attention, and the cultural shift that happens the moment he enters the conversation. Jordan doesn't need promotion. His involvement is a promotion. Charles emphasizes that this deal sends a message louder than any debate ever could. Long after retirement, long after the final buzzer, Jordan's influence still outpaces that of any active player. No current star commands $40 million just to exist in the space. That's not about basketball anymore. That's about mythology meeting market value. This isn't a paycheck. It's a declaration. It's the industry acknowledging what fans have always known. When Michael Jordan shows up, everything else stops. Conversations change. Narratives collapse. Attention follows. And according to Charles, that's the ultimate checkmate in the GOAT debate. Because greatness fades for most. Legends linger for some. But icons like Jordan, they compound over time. Even now, decades later, the game still bends around him.